everybody, welcome to In the Air on CricTracker. मेरा नाम है निवेदना प्रभु. What an exciting innings this has been for Team India. जो सोचा था वो definitely नहीं हुआ और जो नहीं सोचा था वही हुआ. This is probably the best way to be summarizing what has happened today, but we'll be discussing further about what he thought about the performances, especially in that match analysis. हम कुछ और ही सोच रहे थे. So let me bring on Rakesh Deva Reddy, who's a cricket coach as well as cricket analyst, joining us once again back in the studios. Rakesh, great having you. ये जो फ्रेश अप्रोच की बात कर रहे थे was one aspect of it, but for starters, if you had to just sum up what Team India has done, आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
I'm very happy for being. I'm very happy that I've been proven wrong. But the important thing and the interesting thing is the approach how Pujara has. The approach what Pujara has taken in this innings, that is something which is really surprising. Not just with Pujara, even with Virat Kohli as well. But overall, I think as of now, the last two. As of now, the second and the third session, India have done a very good job, and that is what something they have to do, because even yesterday during the post day and even today we were discussing what is the approach. The approach is going to be very simple. You just have to bat as long as possible, but at the same time don't play for survival. So that is what exactly we are seeing from the Indian batsmen. If you play for survival, you're going to get out. They're trying to make the game move forward, at the same time not losing the wicket, playing to the merit of the ball, just trying to hit the balls which are there to hit. Otherwise, they're just sticking to the basics. So that's the best thing to do. They have been successful in doing that in the second and the third session as of now.
Well, of course, in terms of two players that we'll have to talk about, where everybody, of course, is impressed with, these two people were, of course, being questioned all the time. वो उस detail में हम जाने वाले हैं, more into that, of course, all talking about Sharma and all those other, aspects of. But before we get into those details, अगर आपको कोई questions है, आपका कोई analysis है, और अगर आप राकेश के साथ ही discuss करना चाहते हैं, या हमारे दूसरे experts के साथ भी comment section में जरूर डालिएगा. Tell me what you thought of, all their performances so far. Also tell me what you thought about England's bowling so far. Where do you think they went wrong, or what do you think is not working for them? Let me know the same in the comment section, right there on your screens. But before we continue further, let me call on our second guest, Pratyay Tiwari, who's joining us once again in the studio. Pratyay, welcome back. Professor साहब तो बहुत ही strict थे pre-match analysis में. लगता है आपके बच्चों ने बहुत ही अच्छा performance किया है.
Yes, definitely, because as I said, पिछले 2 दिन कुछ भी भारत के favor में नहीं गया, and today it was a day that you can definitely say that it was India's day, क्योंकि शुरुआत जो हुई सुबह से ही उन्होंने दिखाना शुरू कर दिया that they had that positive mindset despite being on the back foot throughout the course of the last 2 days, क्योंकि 2 विकेट जो पहले लिए वो जल्दी आ गए, और उसके बाद में the kind of partnership, yes, there was one moment जब KL राहुल का विकेट वो लंच के टाइम पे नहीं गिरा, वरना कि जस्ट पहले गिर गया, वरना शायद वो सेशन भी कहीं ना कहीं भारत के पूरी तरीके से फेवर में हो सकता था. But I think that yes, both these batsmen and even Rohit Sharma, Kohli, Pujara, and apart from him, Rohit Sharma, all of them deserve a lot of credit, and more credit to Cheteshwar Pujara, because again he has all the odds have been stacked against India. For him, it was even more difficult because he was constantly under pressure, being asked about. There were questions being raised about his position in the side. Should he be kept inside or not? Should Suryakumar Yadav come in? Should Prithvi Shaw be given a chance? Should Mayank Agarwal come in? So many questions, and to bring up this kind of a knock, it's something that he has just proven that why is he a big match player, and he has shown that he was the senior player today. So kudos to the Indian team, and I think that they would be breathing a lot easier today.
Right. I mean, of course, it's not over yet. There is still some, magic left to see from both of them. So, but before we continue, about this, moving on from two happy people to a third person who's equally happy, moving on, getting our next guest on the show, Gaurav Tripathi, who is the content creator, joining us once again. Gaurav, welcome back. I see that smile just giving me the answer that, pretty much you didn't look like that confident going, when they, of course, started. But like Rakesh pointed out, of course, they've stuck to the basics, right? Pretty much. It's not like they've gone for a very aggressive approach. But what do you think has worked? I mean, apart from that point, do you think anything else worked for them right now?
I think first of all, we need to applaud the character of this team. I mean, many have said that you can dominate this team, you can beat this team, but any situation is not going to come where Virat Kohli and co will put their shoulders down and give the match straight away in the opposition's hand. Great fight from them, beat Cheteshwar Pujara, Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma. they showed that they are not going to go down without putting up a fight. I mean, brilliant performance from each one of them. Special credit to Cheteshwar Pujara because he was under the pump since the past few games, and this was the wicket where India got bundled out for 78 in the first innings. Yet, yes, it has gotten better, but I think cricket is more of a mental game than physical. So I think he's approaching 100, and this is one knock which is going to be one of the highlights of his career. 20 years down the line, 30 years down the line, when you talk about Cheteshwar Pujara's career, you will talk about his double centuries, 3 or 4 he has it, his sensational run in the 2018-19 Australia series. But I think this series shows that what sort of character he is, and he was determined to play such a knock from a long time. And I think he's not going to get away after scoring 100 and 120. He's set in the crease, and he's determined to score a daddy 100 on this track.
Right, and I think that's pretty much what Rakesh has actually echoed, or rather voiced throughout that. In terms of cricket, we're very quick to kind of criticize, or just sports people in general when they're having that bad patch. But like he always says, that it's the mental, kind of game. So probably right with all that, criticism coming. We don't know. I mean, of course, unless Cheteshwar really talks about it, probably post this, test match as to what really changed from that first to second innings. Because Rishabh Pant also said in that post-match press conference that India will be looking to rectify those mistakes that they kind of, made, of course, in the first innings. Having said that, let's take a quick look at the scorecard to see where, of course, the teams are standing at the moment in terms of India trailing. If we could take a look, they're trailing by 139 runs. Of course, Pujara right now 91 runs, not out, 180, and of course Craig got that wicket of KL Rahul. Rakesh, I'll come to you on that. Brilliant catch by Bairstow.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a good catch. You can't talk anything too much about that.
In terms of course, talking about the batting lineup, Rohit Sharma did cement, his position right there. If we could have a quick word on what you thought of that, Rakesh, because he, of course, really set that tone going. And of course, he did miss that century as well. But how do you look at it in terms of even his scores? Just very consistent overall in this Test series.
Before this series, everybody was criticizing Rohit Sharma is not a player who, I mean, basically people were pointing saying that this guy cannot play red ball, and then people started he cannot score outside the Indian subcontinent. But I think as of now, he has proven and saying that okay, he can play red ball. It doesn't matter whether it's England, Australia, New Zealand, anywhere. It's just that he had that experience, but looking at the situation, I mean, especially this innings, this particular second innings in the third test, I would say this will be one of his best innings in terms, not in terms of runs he has scored, but looking at the situation of the team India which is in, and I mean the trialing runs were like 350 plus runs. So with that, all those things in front of him, and being so patient because he was trying to be against his natural thing. His natural thing is try to play aggressive, don't let the balls. I mean, he doesn't want to leave the balls which are in his slot, but he knows the situation. He understood the situation. The best example is when KL Rahul got out on the last ball, he was so unhappy. So that shows how determined he was to make Team India to get out of that situation where they were when India started their second innings. So definitely, he's a worthwhile player which India needs in all formats. I think he's going to prove more and more that he's a worthwhile player for India.
Right. What do you all think about that comment that Rakesh has, just made? Let us know, especially you Rohit Sharma fans, because you all were expecting him, to be performing really well today. Of course, in terms of a century, he might have missed out. But what did you think overall? Let us know in the comment section below. I'll come to you, Pratyay. Chetas has spoken about tomorrow's day will be important considering England will be using a new ball. But before we get, talking about getting your opinion, if you could take a look at the England bowlers in third innings, if you could take a look at those stats, and then Pratyay, give us your opinion about this comment that has come in as well.
See, I think this was clearly not a day for the bowlers because apart from the start that we saw when India managed to chip in those 2 wickets quickly, apart from that, there was great application showed by all of the Indian batsmen. So I think that, and that was actually what was surprising was that the weather was not exactly batting friendly as much as it was on day 2, because there was a lot of cloud cover, but still the Indian batsmen showed a great, I guess, discipline and courage in the way they played. And I
Yeah.
think that yes, if you're talking about days being crucial, I think that in a test match, every day has got its own importance. So yes, of course, tomorrow is going to be a very crucial day. I think what happens is that, see, suddenly now you see India is lagging behind by 139. 139 runs are a lot, but it's because the impression that we are currently in, because you've got two set batsmen, one is inching towards the century. He has played out some 180, 190 odd balls. These 139 runs are not looking as threatening as they probably would have had if say India would have lost 4 or 5 wickets. But because they are 2 wickets down, just 2 wickets down with a long lineup left, two set batsmen already in, these 139 are not looking too much. But let's not forget that England is still ahead in this game. 139 runs are a lot, and in the morning, like England lost a couple of wickets yeah, today. Yes, they were tail ender batsmen, and they were not as set as the two current players right now are. But still, morning is never a batsman's friend, and I think that that is going to be again crucial, because if India loses on a couple of wickets, suddenly you will see that yes, now you're probably thinking about, if you collapse, there would be an innings loss in front of you. Or also, what we cannot forget is that apart from this 139, you have to set them a target which is going to which is going to pose a threat or pose a challenge to them. Because if India scores just 200 more runs from here, what England is chasing is 60 odd runs, 70 odd runs. That is going to be chased down. We all know that. So I think that the key is to, I guess, the way India has batted today. First of all, throughout almost the entire day, because England did not last too long in the morning. This is probably what India will have to again do, replicate tomorrow. And two players who are going to be extremely crucial, I think the most crucial of them are already on the crease. There is Pant to come, there is Jadeja, everything of that is all right. But I think that these two are senior batsmen. They have gotten their eyes in, and they were both players who were badly in runs of need. It kind of sounds as an aberration, because you do not expect these people to be missing out on runs. But let's face it that yes, both Virat Kohli and Cheteshwar Pujara were under the pump. They have not been getting runs, and I still feel that more than the personal landmark of Cheteshwar Pujara, yes, I wish that he goes on to convert this into a big one. First gets to his century. But I think that this innings is going to be extremely crucial in the context of the match, and that is exactly how Cheteshwar Pujara and Virat Kohli would be thinking right now. So no doubt it's going to be a very, very crucial day tomorrow.
That's of course interesting because every time we've spoken about it a day, previously, I think even in the previous innings, I think even during the World Test Championship final, where, the partnerships were looking great, that night before, and then the next day, they used to fall like a pack of cards. So I think that would be far more crucial to see that, they don't collapse, which I think Gaurav
Exactly.
has always pointed out about that as well. So, Gaurav, I'll come to you on this, of course, with the fact that, we have to talk about Pujara and Kohli as well. If you could take a quick look at the Indian batsmen in third innings, and in terms of course, form, we've spoken enough. We've spoken about how they've gone through that rough patch, and quite interesting in my comment section. In our comment section, we do not see the questions. What is wrong with Pujara's form? What is wrong with Kohli's form? So I guess this is a good way for them to really let the bat do the talking. But let's talk about the fact that, of course, Pujara and Kohli have also put up a good partnership. That is something that we did not see apart from KL Rahul and Rohit doing, previously. How do you view that now with that extra pressure again coming in for them? And in terms of if they do manage to, get that particular target, what would be a good way for India going forward for this test match?
I think first of all, India can't afford to breathe easy because a new ball is still going to come in, and we have seen this throughout the series. If one wicket falls, then other follows, and we have seen many batting collapses in the series. So I think India are still behind in this contest, and they can't afford to breathe easy. From this point in time, there were 215 for two, if I'm not wrong. They need to post at least 300 and more if they are going to be safe in this contest or are looking for a victory. Having said that, we were not discussing it prior to this match or even in the previous day, but I think there's slight chances of India's victory on this contest. I mean, day four can entirely change the course of the things. We have seen 15 runs or 20 runs scored on D3. If someone like Rishabh Pant and Ravindra Jadeja can be on song and score quick fire knocks like they have played in the past, I think there's a good chance of India making a comeback in the contest, and the chances of their victory might be some more. Because we have seen that this track is not going to be easy to bat on day five, and India have defended a total. India bundled out England for 120 in Lords, So there's no we can't rule out that they can't do it in Headingley. So I think there's not more, but there's a little bit of chance. But we can't deny that England are still ahead in this contest, and India can't afford to breathe easy.
Is this the same Gaurav who is giving up in the pre-match analysis? Which is great. I mean, cricket, like you say, you never know what's going to be
Cricket is a
happening. But
funny
of
game.
course,
Anything can happen. Anything.
right?
We have
See,
seen
And
that.
and
the fact
see
that
see what one good partnership can do. Just one good
let's
partnership,
not
a couple
jinx
of
it.
good partnerships,
I think the more
and
worry is you
yeah,
don't want to be
absolutely.
jinxing this, right?
Yes, definitely not. But I think that, see, this is what a couple of good partnerships can do. I mean, we were discussing how probably this match is out of India's hands, and one of us has started to now feel that yes, Indian victory cannot be entirely ruled out. Though I think that yes, still that would be thinking too far ahead. But yes, I feel to one extent that if India can actually go on to pile up more runs, then it might not be a case where it's absolutely impossible. And which is why we say
You,
that Test cricket is such cricket, in fact, not just any format. It's such an unpredictable game. You really do not know. It's as unpredictable as the English weather.
मुझे कहीं ना कहीं लगता है that Pratyay's motivational speech must have worked somewhere. Some sort of magic must have been created. But before we wrap up, I'll come to you, Rakesh. Going ahead, looking at day 4. What are your thoughts before we quickly wrap up?
It's going to be very simple. Play to the basics, stick to your plan, try to leave the balls which are outside the off stump, hit the balls which are which are in your zone. But the interesting thing is England will definitely take the new ball. If India can survive, if these two batsmen, Kohli and Pujara, can survive for another 20 overs when England takes the new ball, then things are going to be really different for in terms of India. Both of them will be settled down because again it's going to be a new day, new start. Everything is going to be new. Now they have to forget. Pujara have to forget that he has 91 runs back of him, and Kohli has to forget that he has 40 odd runs back of him. They have to start from zero, stick to the
Right.
basics, again, just go through the plan, and try to play as long as possible. But at the same time, don't play for survival.
Wow, that's quite a statement to be making. And, on that note, of course, we're going to be wrapping up this edition. But a comment that Daniel has said, India's batting until lunch would be very crucial tomorrow. That's pretty much what Rakesh has said. And he set the tone that at the end of the day, of course, they'll be looking to kind of capitalize on that opportunity. But at the same time, do not be, do it for like survival. At the end of the day, they're also going to be looking at to restart, like, Rakesh has said. Now, what is going to be happening tomorrow and what, kind of predictions will be made by all three of our fabulous guests here. For that, you'll have to stay tuned tomorrow for In the Air on CricTracker. So we'll see you tomorrow once again. Until then, of course, stay tuned to CricTracker and take care of yourself.